Here's how to stockpile food that will outlive civilization itself. Imagine a world where supply chains are just ghost stories, and your last can of beans stares back at you like a desperate plea. Supermarkets stand as silent graveyards. Delivery trucks are nothing but rusting sculptures. Your neighbors eye your garden with hungry desperation, and that expiration date on your canned peaches has become a cruel joke from a bygone era. But here's the secret to survival. It's not about blind optimism. It's about cold, hard science, a touch of stubbornness in selecting foods so resilient they'll make cockroaches look like delicate flowers. Fear not, we're crafting an immortal pantry. Listen up, wasteland warriors. I'm about to reveal foods that laugh in the face of expiration dates, mock the very concept of time, and will sustain you when everything else has crumbled. Forget your grandmother's yishas and jellies. These are the undead of the food world, accidentally engineered by science, perfected by pure desperation. First, the holy trinity of defying decay: salt, sugar, and honey. Scavenge them from abandoned restaurants, ransacked pantries, or that suspiciously well-stocked neighbor's bunker that you definitely didn't break into. Salt comes first. This crystalline wonder doesn't just season your questionable rat stew, it's a bacterial serial killer. Sodium chloride creates a molecular wasteland where microbes go to die, sucking moisture out of everything like a ravenous chemical vampire. Store it in anything airtight. Mason jars, plastic containers, even that fancy Tupperware you had before society imploded. Keep it dry, keep it sealed, and it'll outlast your great-grandchildren's skeletons. Next up, sugar. Pure white death to bacteria. It binds water molecules tighter than a miser's fist, creating a desolate desert where nothing can thrive. Sure, it might harden into concrete blocks over time, but it's concrete that tastes sweet and provides calories. Smash it with a hammer, dissolve it in water, whatever. It's still sugar, and it's still refusing to give up. And then there's honey, nature's defiant middle finger to decay. Bees figured out immortality long before we did. Its low pH, minimal water content, and natural antibiotics create an environment where almost nothing can survive. Archaeologists have found 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs that was still perfectly edible. The pharaohs are dust, but their honey remains golden, a timeless testament mocking death itself. The science behind it is brutally beautiful. These three create environments so hostile to life, with water activity levels so low and pH levels that could strip paint, that even the most stubborn bacteria will pack up and leave. Now on to carbohydrate immortality. Method 1, white rice. Not brown rice. That hippie garbage expires faster than good intentions. White rice has had its soul surgically removed during processing, and that's precisely why it survives. Scavenge it from Asian markets or anywhere civilization stockpiled carbs. The whiter, the better. Those natural oils that make brown rice healthy are also what make it rot. Store it in Mylar bags, those shiny space-age pouches. Throw in oxygen absorbers, those little packets that devour air for breakfast. Seal it all in 5-gallon buckets, like you're preparing for nuclear winter. Because, well, you might be. Deprived of oils and moisture, rice transforms into a carbohydrate mummy. 30 years later, it'll cook up the same as day one. Still calories, still keeping you alive. Step 2 in building your carb fortress. Pasta. Spaghetti, macaroni, those weird shell-shaped things. Durum wheat processed into shapes that defy the very concept of expiration. Raid Italian restaurants or grocery stores. Seek out the hardest varieties, the ones that could double as construction materials. Use the same storage method as with rice. Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers. Sealed containers creating an environment so sterile that bacteria would need hazmat suits to survive. The low moisture content in pasta makes it a desert for microorganisms. They arrive, find nothing to drink, and simply die of thirst. 20 years from now, when you're boiling this pasta over a fire fueled by scavenged furniture, it'll taste exactly as it did before the collapse. Which is to say, like cardboard, but cardboard that fills your stomach and keeps you breathing for another day. Finally, protein that refuses to quit. Canned meat. Chicken, beef, pork, even that mysterious meat product that might once have been an animal. The canning process is essentially food mummification. Scour abandoned stores and military surplus depots. Look for cans without dents, bulges, or that ominous hissing sound that signals botulism throwing a raging party inside. Your nose is your most reliable tool here. If it smells like death, it probably is. The science is medieval in its effectiveness. High heat obliterates anything that wants to kill you, and airtight seals keep new threats from entering. No oxygen means no spoilage, just protein suspended in time, patiently waiting for your can opener. That can opener isn't just a tool, it's a key to another day, another meal, another sunrise. You're not just stockpiling food, you're stockpiling time, building a fortress against oblivion. One can, one grain, one crystal of salt at a time. This isn't about merely hoping you'll survive, it's about ensuring that you will. Let's move on to another cornerstone of survival. Dried beans, the prepper's ultimate ally. This is your third method for long-term sustenance. We're talking kidney beans, black beans, pinto beans, beans that resemble tiny rocks and, let's be honest, taste pretty similar. But these are rocks that provide protein, fiber, and the sheer will to face another day. Scavenge them from health food stores, Mexican markets, anywhere people understood that beans are basically edible insurance policies. Seek out the hardest, driest specimens, the ones that sound like gravel when you shake the container. The storage protocol remains consistent. Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, sealed containers. You're crafting a tomb so impenetrable that even time itself gets confused and leaves it alone. Properly dried beans boast a moisture content lower than most deserts. Any bacteria that dare to show up find absolutely nothing to sustain them and give up, just like everyone else eventually will. The cellular structure of these beans is a fortress. Thick cell walls, minimal water, and natural compounds that politely but firmly tell microorganisms to find somewhere else to party. 30 years from now, they'll still cook up into something vaguely resembling food. Next, canned fruits and vegetables, vitamins and armor. This is for when you desperately need essential vitamins and your body starts threatening to develop scurvy. Think peaches, corn, green beans, tomatoes that have a distant, faded memory of what sunlight once felt like. The same canning science that preserves meat works its magic here. High heat sterilization, airtight seals, an environment more hostile than a tax audit. Those best buy dates, they're just gentle suggestions from a world that naively believed in expiration dates. Ignore them, trust the science. Yes, the texture might be mushy and the color might be questionable, but vitamins are vitamins, and scurvy is still a threat. Your body won't care if the peaches have the consistency of baby food. It only cares about not falling apart at the cellular level. For your mornings, consider rolled oats, the breakfast of champions, even in the apocalypse. Start your day with old-fashioned oatmeal that's older than your grandparents' marriage and twice as reliable. Find them in bulk bins, health stores, anywhere people stockpiled breakfast before breakfast became a luxury. Look for the thick, hearty varieties, the kind that could double as construction adhesive if needed. The storage protocol is the same. Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, sealed containers. You're creating a breakfast bunker that time itself cannot breach. Oats are essentially just grass seeds that learn to be useful. Low moisture, high fiber, and stubborn enough to survive a nuclear winter. The natural oils are minimal, and what little moisture exists gets greedily vacuumed up by your oxygen absorbers. What you're left with is basically edible cardboard that provides sustained energy and perhaps even more importantly, the comforting illusion of civilization. Now, for when you start to desperately miss the concept of dairy, there's powdered milk, the ghost of dairy. Let's be clear, it's not milk, it's the memory of milk preserved in powdered form, like cremated calcium. Scavenge it from restaurant supply stores or camping outlets. Look for whole milk powder if you can find it. More fat content translates to more calories, which means more reasons to keep breathing. Store it like everything else, but be extra paranoid about moisture. Powdered milk and humidity are mortal enemies. One drop of water, and your dairy powder becomes dairy concrete. Keep it drier than your sense of humor. 20 years from now, you'll mix it with whatever questionable water you can find. It won't taste like milk, it'll taste like disappointment with a side of calcium. But your bones will thank you, assuming you still have bones. Method 4 for immortal condiments. Vinegar, the acid that never dies. White vinegar, apple cider vinegar, vinegar that could strip rust and probably has. Acetic acid doesn't just preserve food, it is preservation. Find it anywhere people understood that acid kills everything worth killing. Its pH level is so low that bacteria take one look and immediately file for unemployment. Store it in glass containers if you can. Plastic might dissolve before the vinegar expires. We're talking a pH of 2.4. That's battery acid territory, acidic enough to dissolve a penny. Use it for cleaning, preserving other foods, or just reminding yourself what flavor used to taste like. And its opposite, baking soda, the alkaline survivor. Sodium bicarbonate doesn't just survive, it actively fights decay, odors, and the general concept of things going bad. Stockpile it from anywhere people baked or cleaned. Store it in airtight containers, because it will absorb every odor within a 50-mile radius if you let it. Use it for baking, cleaning, deodorizing, or as an antacid when your stomach finally rebels against your survival diet. It's pure chemistry in a box, and chemistry doesn't expire. It just waits patiently for you to need it. So there you have it. These are the essentials that laugh at expiration dates, mock the concept of spoilage, and will keep you alive when everything else is crumbled. Store them correctly. Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, sealed containers in cool, dry places that bacteria fear to tread. The science is simple. You remove the water, you remove the oxygen, you remove all hope for microorganisms. What you're left with is food that's more stubborn than you are, more persistent than cockroaches, and a hell of a lot more reliable than any government promises. Now you know.